We saw a lot of movement this offseason in the NFL. There was a lot of big names that moved. And there's still a lot of free agents. Like I said, I talked about last week. Antonio Brown still a free agent, Melvin Ingram still a free agent, Russell Okung still a free agent. There's a Steven Nelson. There's a lot of free agents that still, but there has been a lot of movement this offseason in the NFL. And what I want to do was, for my last topic, I wanted to do my top five, like who has most approved. My 5 players that have the most approved, whether it's due to injury or whether it's because they're in the new spot. These are the 5 players that I think have the most approved. Number 5, I have Jadeveon Clowney. Now, the reason why I said he hasn't enough to prove, because a lot of people, he's a former number 1 overall pick. It hasn't worked. It didn't work in Houston. It didn't work in Houston. It didn't work in Seattle, and it didn't work in Tennessee. He had maybe 1 or 2 good years in Houston, and those good years were with J.J. Watt out. A lot of people are saying that because of the move to get Jadeveon Clowney and play him alongside Myles Garrett, that this could make Cleveland a Super Bowl contending team. But if you couldn't do that against prime J.J. Watt, prime J.J. Watt is arguably one of the greatest defensive players we've ever seen. I'm not saying he is, but he's one of the greatest, at least top maybe 10. And if that's the case, the attention he's getting. So he's getting all that attention, and you can't thrive like with that. And I'm not saying Myles Garrett's bad, but he's not prime J.J. Watt. And then you go to Seattle, which they need you. Like, Seattle's defense, we all know, has been god-awful since the Legion of Boom. And they pick you to go there and make a huge impact, and you didn't. And then you go to Tennessee, and you didn't make an impact like at all. You didn't really. Tennessee's defense wasn't good. So I say he has a lot to prove because he's a former number 1 overall pick. A lot of people are saying because of this move and because he's playing alongside, Myles Garrett in that incredible defense, that he puts them over the top. They should get to the Super Bowl. A lot of people are saying, I'm not saying that, but a lot of people are saying they can at least make it to the AFC Championship with this roster. Now, I say he has a lot to prove because, again, you're a former number 1 overall pick and you haven't worked in your last 3 destinations. And at some point, people are going to start looking and saying, and they could have gotten to this point, at least I've gotten to this point, where it's like, I don't know what to expect. I don't expect much from him, even though he's the number 1 overall pick. I don't expect much because he's been to different places and has not produced. So I think that he has a lot to prove as far as, is he the number 1? I know how incredible he was at South Carolina, but at this point in his career, the number 1 overall pick has not been warranted. He has not been good enough, and he hasn't played well enough to solidify him being a number 1 overall pick. And I think that this is another situation. Another team, and a lot of people are saying because they picked him up, they are good enough to at least make it to an AFC Championship / Super Bowl because of him being on the team. And I think he has a lot to prove in that, man.